Hey everyone, it's Ashley here. Welcome back to my channel. First off, I want to say apologies that it's been a bit since you've seen me. I know it's been about 2 weeks since I've released a video. Sorry. I just started my last semester for my undergrad at college, and it has been a lot of readjusting and trying to get my feet underneath me. So I've just been trying to kind of get everything figured out, and so I needed to take a pause on YouTube videos so that way I could focus on getting my classes figured and taken care of. So I do apologize, but I'm back. I'm here and I've got some stuff basically under control now, so now I am good to start posting again. For today's video, I decided I would do a story time. I love telling stories, so this will be fun. It's my first story time. So I decided I would talk about the convention I went to in November of 2019, which was the Supernatural Jacksonville convention. Now, I started my YouTube channel obviously after that convention, so I didn't film any of it and I haven't really talked about it on here. So I decided that I would just make a video kind of just talking about some of the big things that happened to me at the convention, my thoughts on it, and so on and so forth. So Supernatural Jacksonville was the first convention I'd ever been to. I have never even been to like a general convention. This was like my first step into like fandom themed conventions. I was really excited and also a little nervous about it. I had always dreamed of going to a Supernatural convention. I'd wanted to go since I started the show 8 years ago whenever I heard conventions were a thing. But I was in middle school and in high school and it just wasn't feasible for me to be able to go because I was broke and I didn't have the money. And my mom hadn't started watching the show yet, so she didn't really know what it was about. So I didn't really have an option to go, and then I started college, and then that was its own thing, me figuring out how to do college. But whenever my mom started getting into the show, I started talking to her more about conventions, and she was kind of interested in them too because she really liked the show and she kind of wanted to meet the cast. So we'd already been talking about it, but whenever Supernatural announced that it was ending and that season 15 was going to be the last season, that was what was the like tipping point to kind of finally go full-heartedly and saying yes, we're going to go to a convention, because since the show was ending we wanted to go to one before it ended. Jacksonville was not far from my original home, and so we decided we would just do that one. Then came the months of planning, which was a lot, and then obviously it was time for the convention. So with the Creation Entertainment Supernatural conventions, they are normally Friday, Saturday, Sundays, but you can do early registration, pre-registration on Thursday nights. So our goal was to come in on Thursday night because we had one of the big weekend passes. They have gold, silver, and bronze, and each one you can get certain perks from. We had the silver one, and so we decided we would go ahead and register and get that taken care of before Friday came, and we would be overwhelmed with all the stuff we were going to do. So we decided just to come in. Fun thing for me was that I had college stuff going on that week. So I had a class that was on Wednesday afternoon, so I couldn't drive home until Thursday morning. Our home, where I grew up at, where my mom lives, is 4 hours away from Jacksonville. And then I am 4 hours away from my home at college. So my trip for Jacksonville was getting up at 3 a.m., getting all my stuff finished packing, leaving at 5 a.m., driving 4 hours, and then finally just making it to my home, and then taking another 4 hours to get there. I was exhausted. I've heard people say, you know, make sure you get lots of rest before a convention. Definitely do. Like, highly recommend that. If you're watching this and never gone to a con and you want to in the future, get rest beforehand, because it can be really, really tiring, and it's good to just kind of get your rest up. I didn't do that well because I had college stuff going on and it was like near the end of the semester, so a lot of stuff was due. Great timing. I was super tired, but I was excited, so that kind of just overtook it all. One of the cool things I remember about Thursday was Supernatural new episode came on, so we watched that, and it was really fun watching it and then going straight to the convention. And then it was really cool because I got to meet a lot of my online friends on Thursday night, and I saw them throughout the weekend, but like I got to meet them then, so that was really a good highlight. Friday came, and Friday was mostly just panels. We didn't really have a lot going on Friday, so which was kind of nice with our first day because it was just like taking a breather and kind of just figuring out everything. So we mostly just watched a ton of panels, and we went and walked around the vendors hall, which vendors hall literally is amazing. It's way too much money at the vendors hall, but I loved it. It was so fun. And my favorite panel on Friday was probably Lisa Berry's. I love Lisa Berry. If you don't know who she is, she plays Billy in Death 2.0, and she is just so amazing. She's so sweet, and her panel was very entertaining. She's a great speaker, and I just loved her panel. We did mostly that day. The only things I remember is I had my autographs with Kim and Brianna, and Kim is who plays Sheriff Jody Mills, and Brianna plays Sheriff Donna. I got to meet them and speak with them. I have the autographs. I had all of my autographs done in the John Winchester journal replica done by Conquest Journals. I just realized this would probably be a good safe place to keep it, and somewhere with all my supernatural stuff. I will show you all my autographs as well. They probably won't be as good to see, but you know, it's fine. So this was Breeze, and she had said, "Ashley, so good to meet you," and her autograph. And then I went to Kim, and so Kim I had seen on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody back when I was young, and so I went up to her and kind of word vomited. I did that a lot with a lot of them when I met them with autographs. I just word vomited because I was nervous. And so I just started talking about how I watched her on Sweet Life, and then I watched her on Supernatural, and how I loved her in both, how amazing she is. And she started laughing, and she said, "Okay, well then let me know what the next thing you want to watch is, and I will be on it." It was just a really funny conversation. I love her. She's amazing. And then week after that, kind of just were, you know, like I said, watching panels, walking around, talking with other people. And then we had our autographs with, if you had like gold, silver, you know, like the weekend passes. That night they had several people doing autographs. So they had Jeffrey Vincent Parise, who played Asmodeus, Lisa Berry, who plays Billy / Death 2.0, and then Chad Lindbergh, who plays Ash. Jeffrey, I don't really remember what all I said to him. It was just like, I loved him and he was great in the show. He's actually really funny in person, like super funny. He was entertaining the entire time of the convention. I didn't realize how funny the guy was. He is hilarious. But anyway, so here was his autograph. And then I had Lisa, who is, again, very, very sweet. I think I also told her that she's amazing and I loved her. And then my favorite experience of Friday was actually Chad Lindbergh. So Chad Lindbergh plays Ash, and Chad Lindbergh is such an interesting guy. He is so funny and he's just so entertaining. I get up to him and I get word vomited. So I was telling him like how much I loved him as Ash, how great an actor he is. And then I just was like, because I follow him on Twitter and I think his Twitter is pretty entertaining too. And so I said, also, I really, really love your Twitter. I always get on Twitter and I love seeing your tweets. And after I said that, he started writing and he kind of stopped and he goes, "Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I haven't had anyone really compliment me on my Twitter." And he was like, "So what's your Twitter username?" And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Oh, okay, alright." And so I told him, you know, my Twitter username. If you don't follow me on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter. And so I told him my Twitter name. He goes, "Okay." He said, "Here's the thing. This is what we're gonna do." He said, "We're gonna come up with a word." He said, "Come up with a word right now." He said, "And that's gonna be our word. And what I want you to do is after, you know, this tonight, I want you to tweet me that word." And he said, "That will be our shared thing." And I kind of just stood there and was just like, "Okay, alrighty." So he goes back to writing and I'm sitting here trying to think of a word. Well, here's the thing. I hadn't eaten since lunch. Like, autographs take a long time, especially when you're doing the weekend pass ones. Like, they take a long time because you got a line of people trying to get autographs. And so we hadn't had dinner, and the last time I ate was at like 11 or something like that. And it was like 6, almost 7, 8 p.m. somewhere in that area. I was starving. Like, I was really, really hungry. And it's important to eat when you're at conventions, and it's sometimes really hard to do. And this was one of the days that I remember we didn't even end up eating because we had karaoke right afterwards. I just had like chips and that was it. So I was really hungry. The other thing to know about me, I absolutely love chicken. That is my favorite food of all time, especially chicken nuggets. So I was really hungry, and the first thing that popped in my head, unfortunately, and then I said it, was chicken nuggets. It isn't even one word, it's 2 words. And I just said it, and then I realized I said it. And then my mom's like standing like, you know, right beside me because, you know, she was also in autographs, and she's just like staring at me. And Chad kind of like, he kind of stops writing. He looks up at me and he goes, "Chicken nuggets." It's like, yeah. He didn't laugh. I'll give this to him. He did not laugh. He chuckled, but he didn't laugh at me, and I appreciate that. And he said, "Alright, well then chicken nuggets it is." And so he wrote it on here. And it was super funny to me I'll have the proof that he did write it. Here it is, his signature. Right there. Chicken nuggets. He was so nice. And then afterwards, I did end up tweeting him. I got back to the room after karaoke, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm gonna tweet him. And my mom was like, she was like, Ashley, you need to be prepared. He's probably not going to see it or respond because he's exhausted. You know, he was at karaoke. It's been a long day, and he might not remember you overall because of how many people were there. She was just like, you just need to be prepared for that. And I was like, I know. I didn't expect him to respond at all. I was like, oh, that's fine. Like, I don't think he will, but I just want to, like, you know, try. and I told him I was going to, so I'm not going to just not. And I'll put it up on the screen here. But I tweeted him, and I said, at Chad Limber, just have to say this to you, chicken nuggets with a heart. So I sent that. And then he responded not long after. Like, I know it was before I went to bed because I saw it. He liked my tweet, and then he replied, chicken nuggets forever. And this is like right before I was like about to pass out, and I got so excited. I was just like, oh my gosh. And karaoke was really fun as well. We had that later, which with Supernatural Conventions, they basically have some of the actors and on stage, and they sing karaoke, and all the SPN family is like chilling, standing, and we dance around and sing, and then you can put your name in to get picked to go on stage and sing as well. I had such a fun time. I got to meet more people because of karaoke, so that was really fun. And it was just a great time with a bunch of people like dancing around and singing. So Saturday came, and Saturday was like the day that I probably freaked out the most, honestly. Like, just because so much stuff happened on Saturday. Saturday, we had a lot of photo ops. It was also Misha Day. My first thing I did that day was I had my photo op with Kim and Bree. It was the duo op they have together. And I was, again, nervous going in there, but I was a little bit better because I'd already talked to them once. So I remember I walked in there, and they both, you know, I get up there, and they ask you what pose you want to do. So they asked me what pose, and I said, squishy hug, you know, hug. You know, they hugged me in the front and the back. And they were like, oh, yeah, squishy hug. Okay, we got it. And so they wrapped it. I can't explain the pure joy I had. I'll have pictures of my photo ops in here, so you can see it here. My smile is genuine, like 100% genuine. I was like so happy, truly happy. So they were so kind and so sweet, and I loved them so much. And then I had my photo op with Emily Swallow, who plays the Darkness / Amara, and she was also very kind and very sweet. I love her too. I remember we got in there, it was really cold in the photo op rooms, and so I get in there and she's just like freezing to death. Like, she's just like, it's so cold in here. And I remember when I was hugging her, I could feel how cold she was, and I think I mentioned about how I was also cold, and so we had a whole like fun thing about being cold. But she was very kind. And then we had our photo up with Misha. I was so nervous about like meeting Jared Jensen and Misha because, again, I had been watching the show for a very long time. I'd always dreamed of meeting them in person, so it was like a dream happening. And so I remember I don't even think I said anything to Misha just because I was so nervous. I had made 2 paintings that said YB and normal because that is like, Misha has taught me to just like, why be normal, like be yourself, don't care what other people think. And that's something I've taken into my life now. So I made those paintings for my mom and I to hold because my mom and I did share some photo ops together because of pricing, so we split the cost. We made those, and we go in, you know, we tell Misha, we were like, or my mom does because I was so nervous, we want you just to do a fun, silly pose. Like, whatever you want to do, just something fun and silly. And you know, alright. And so my friends kept telling me, like, because I had the paintings, like, alright, make sure that you're in the right way so when you read it, it reads correctly at the camera, like with the paintings. And I was like, oh yeah, we're fine, we're gonna be fine. Well, here's the thing, when we get in there, it's a different story because we're very nervous. So, we didn't have them right. Here's the photo. Not right at all. It says normal YB, which honestly, I ended up loving it more because of that, because of the fact that it just, why be normal and even have them right? Like, I just feel like it adds more to it. And then Misha's face, like his pose, we didn't know what he did until we got the photo op, like, because we couldn't see him. And so when we got the photo op back and I looked at it, I was just like, I started cracking up. Like, this was so much better than I could have ever thought of the photo, and Misha killed it. I just was like, thank you, Misha, for being so amazing, because this is one of my favorite things ever. And then we had Misha's panel, which was the thing that kind of was just like, where I think freaked out the most of the entire convention. So the thing with Misha's panel and J Square's panel, like these bigger panels, you have to, if you want to ask a question, you have to put your name in and then they pick people. With the other panels, you can just go up on the side and wait in line and then ask a question. But with those, you have to get picked. So on Thursday night, I saw they had a thing there, you could put your name in. So I just put my name in just because I was like, why not? Everyone kept telling me, like, it's your first convention, you're not gonna get picked, like, you know, don't worry, like, you probably won't get picked, you know. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm not figuring I will, I just put my name in there just to do it. And sitting, waiting, they put the names on the screen, because they put the names and your seat number and everything. So I'm reading through, I'm not expecting to see my name on there. I see my friend's name first, because my friend Stacy was there too, and she got picked. And then I started reading the other side, and I saw my name on there. And I kind of just sat there, and I was like, God. Tapped my mom because she's sitting next to me, and I said, my name's up there. And she goes, no, it's what? No, it's not. I don't see it. Where? And I can't answer because at this point I am having like a moment, like an actual moment. Like I'm shaking. I can't speak. I'm trying to find my ID because luckily I remembered that because you have to have your ID to like ask a question. So I'm like trying to find that. My friend Stacy comes and runs up to us and she's like, oh my gosh, I got picked. And my mom goes, she did too. I can't even speak because I'm just like shaking, like trying to find my ID. Thankfully, the night before I had wrote 2 questions in case I got picked, which my mom was like, you're not gonna get picked. I swear, every time my mom says something won't happen, it happened. So she's like, you're probably not gonna get picked. And I was like, well, I just want it to be as like a just in case. Good thing I did, because if I had gotten picked without a question, oh no, that would have been bad. So I had already wrote out questions, and so I have a video clips of me asking it and his answer, but it's from my mom recording, and we were kind of a little bit further back, and it's not the best of quality, so I will put a little bit in here. But basically, I asked him if he, Misha Collins, could meet Castiel, how did he think that interaction would go? And Misha basically answered with, one, I got him to do the cast voice, and I can't even tell you how much I was fangirling over that. And 2, he answered it, and then he went on a tangent about how everyone sees him as shorter than Jared and Jensen. Don't really know how he ended up on that train of thought, but he did, and it was really funny. I was wondering if you, Misha, were to ever meet Castiel, how do you think that interaction would go?
I think it would go remarkably well. I think it would go a lot like this, like, you're very handsome. You're very handsome as well, thank you. And that kind of thing. Yeah, I would say, you look taller in person. That's been a great source of frustration over the years, since we're bearing it all today. In season 4 and 5, it seemed like whenever we were like outside or something and on a hill, it would be like, okay, Jared, you stand here, and Misha, you stand down there. And I'd be like, I felt like I was always like trying to act from the bottom of a well.
He was very, very sweet. One of my favorite things about, I can't say this with anyone else because I didn't ask any other questions except for Misha's, but when he was answering the question, they're entertaining the audience, so that's their main priority, so they're looking at the audience and everything. But with Misha, at least, he would answer with the audience, obviously, to entertain them, but then he would look me straight in the eye and talk straight to me, like, because he's answering my question. And I can't even like explain like the feelings I had because of that, because it made me feel like he was answering my question, and it made it more where it wasn't like tons of people there with me. Like it kind of felt like it was just him answering me, because he looked into my soul, So I like literally, I can't even explain how that was one of my favorite things that's ever happened with me. Like I loved being able to have that experience, and it was a highlight of the weekend probably. And then after that we had the Saturday night special concert. Saturday night special, amazing. It was so much fun. It's basically a concert where the actors come on stage and they sing. The actors for Supernatural are so talented, like absolutely talented. They're amazing. And so it was an honor, honestly, to be able to hear them sing and see them display their talents. Loudon Swain. I love Loudon Swain. If you don't know who Loudon Swain is, Rob Benedict, who plays Chuck, he is the lead singer for them. They're at all the conventions. They are the host band. They are so good, and they killed it with leading Saturday Night Special. And then all of the people who sang were wonderful. Samantha Smith sang, who plays Mary Winchester, and I think she said it was her first time singing at a convention, and so she was a little nervous. She killed it. It was amazing. It was so fun. And it was just, I can't even explain how amazing that the concert was. After that, we went to bed, and then Sunday came, which is J Square Day. I was so nervous that day because I was like, I'm meeting Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki today. How can I not be nervous? The first thing we had that day was our photo op with Jensen. So I was like, we're great. We're kicking off the day, and I'm already going to like lose my mind. And so I was so nervous. I didn't speak to Jensen either because I was unbelievably nervous. And my mom and I agreed with Jensen and Jared because my mom is more of like a Jensen Dean girl and I'm more of a Sam Jared girl. That what we would do is, because we both wanted to like hug them, we said that what we would do is I would do like a hug with Jared and she stand off to the side, and she would hug Jensen, I stand off to the side. We came to that agreement. We were cool with it. So my mom explained the pose to him and everything. And I didn't say anything because I was so nervous. What was super funny when we did Jensen's is we were waiting in line. We're like next up. They tell us to go forward. Then they tell us to pause. And we're like a foot away from Jensen Ackles. And he takes a coffee break. And we're just standing there. And honestly, it probably was really awkward for him. Not gonna lie. But for me, I was like, take your time. Take as long as you need with your coffee break. I'm okay just standing here admiring you. The guy is gorgeous. I mean, like, I don't have any other words. So I got a little bit of extra time with him because they had to do a coffee break, which was amazing, and I'm not complaining about. Yeah, so I just stood off to the side with my mom, hugged him. He was very kind, very sweet. And then we leave, and then the next thing we had was Jared's photo op. I can't even explain how nervous I was for Jared. Jared has made a huge impact on my life, and I love him, and so I just was like, okay, how am I going to do this? I told my mom, I was like, I will talk to Jared. I was like, I will tell him the pose and everything. I'm going to do it. Since she had done Jensen and Misha's, like, I'm going to do Jared's because I was upset with myself because I didn't really talk to them in the photo ops. So we're waiting in line. I can't even, like, I was just shaking. I get up there. He's so sweet. I get up there and you can tell how nervous I am. And I was like, hey Jared, and he like grabbed my arms and like was comforting me, and he said, hey darling. It's like, he was just so kind, and he was like, what do you want to do? I said, well, I was like, I want to hug you, and then I don't know what she's doing, but she's back there. And he looked over at my mom and gave her a knowing nod is what she told me, and then he looked down at me, he goes, okay, that sounds good, we'll do that. And he like wrapped me up. I can't like clarify for anyone because like I didn't get to hug everyone. I didn't hug Jensen, I didn't hug Misha, but I will say this, Jared has given me the best hug I've ever had in my life. Like, I don't kid. Like, he gives amazing hugs, and he is just so kind. I like was gripping on him, honestly, and I kind of feel bad about it now, but I was so nervous. He was just the kindest. I remember when we were leaving, I was like, thank you so much, and he said, thank you, sweetheart. I literally went out of the photo op room, got outside in like the hallway area, sat down at the wall, and started crying. And I couldn't help it. I just couldn't believe it. So that will hold a special place for me forever, my memories. But we did that, and then we had another photo op with Rob and Rich, who Rob, again, like I said earlier, played Chuck, and Rich plays the trickster / Gabriel. They had a duo op together. My mom and I got that together, and funny thing about that one, we get in there, I was not as nervous at this point because I got my nerves out. This was after the J Square panel, which the panel was great too. They were super funny and awesome. But this was after the panel, so I had calmed down like a lot at this point. So I wasn't as nervous going in for theirs. And I get in there, my mom goes straight to Rich. I'm talking with Rob, and Rob's like, how are you? Like, so on and so forth, having a little conversation with me, and I'm talking back with him. And my mom and Rich automatically start getting into the pose because we decided we were going to do like a kick line with them, basically like arms over our shoulders and like 1 foot out kicking. And so I remember they're getting in the pose. I'm about to start moving into the pose, and Rob just kind of like, not panic necessarily, but like slight panic in the eyes, and he's like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on? What's the plan? And I was just like, I can't forget that. And I told him, I was like, you just put your arm around me. We're just doing like a little kick line thing. He's like, okay. Rob is such a little bean, and I love him so much. Like, he's just, I can't, and like having that interaction with him like really solidified that for me. He is such a little bean, and I just love him so much. And then we had our last autograph. So the autographs that night took forever, like so long. I had autographs from Misha, and then Samantha Smith, who plays Mary Winchester, was there, and she was doing her autographs. And then Jared and Jensen. The first one I was able to get to was Samantha Smith. She was very, very sweet and kind, and I remember I was telling her how beautiful she is, because she is beautiful, like in real life, absolutely beautiful. And she was just touched, and she was like, thank you so much, and you're so beautiful yourself. And she was just so very, very sweet and amazing. So this was hers. So with Jared Jensen and Samantha and Misha, they didn't do our names, they didn't personalize it, so they just signed it. So here's Samantha's. And then next was Misha's. Honestly, if I'm gonna be real, I do not remember what I said to Misha. I just cannot remember. But I think I just had a general conversation with him. I was like, you're very sweet. I love you. Yeah. And he was I know he was very kind back to me, but I really and truly just don't remember what I said. So this was his signature. He used a silver Sharpie. So his stands out. I don't even know if you can see it. Hopefully you can. Next was Jared's. So Jared was going pretty quick with his autos that night, and so I got in line. I remember I got up to him and I basically just quickly said like how thankful I am for him. I thanked him for his Always Keep Fighting campaign and how much it impacted me and how important it was to me and how appreciative I am to him. So he was signing, and he looked at me when he got done and he said thank you so much, and it just touched my heart. Like, he's super sweet. And so here's his autograph. Kind of looks just like squiggles, honestly, but like that's okay. And then the last one we had was Jensen. Yet again, I word vomited with Jensen. I get up there, like, he's very, very sweet. Like, oh, so sweet. And his album, Radio Company Volume 1 had just come out, and so I get up there and I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to him about Radio Company, because I absolutely love Radio Company Volume 1. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And so I get up there and I was like, hey, I absolutely love your Radio Company Volume 1. It's amazing. I love the songs on it. And then I word vomited and said, I'm making my friends listen to it so that way we can boost your numbers up. I first said it, I was like, why did I say that? But he was very kind. He was just like, thank you so much. I'm glad I can help. But he was very kind. So this was his. And after that, that was it. We drove home that night because I then had classes again, one day only, but I had to do a presentation in person. So I had to leave that night to drive the 4 hours back to my home and then 4 hours in the morning back to college. So that was fun. We left pretty much right after, and honestly, the convention was one of the best experiences for me ever. Like, it is one of my favorite weekends I've ever had, and I truly am so thankful for it. Honestly, the thing overall that was probably my favorite part, meeting the actors, was amazing. Like, I can't even explain how amazing that was, and it was a dream come true. What surprised me, I think, the most was the thing that literally stood out to me, and it still is my favorite thing, was meeting the SPN family there. I can't even explain the atmosphere at the conventions with everyone. I met a lot of my friends I met online, like through Twitter and everything, and it was so amazing meeting them in person, and it was like just cool being able to see your online friends that you haven't seen before, and you click, like you automatically click. It's not awkward or weird. And then on top of it, I started just talking with random people at the conventions, and one of them I'm still friends with today. It was something unlike anything I've ever experienced before, and the people I met, like the friends I gained from it, literally is probably my most favorite part of it, which is insane. And like saying like I met like all the actors and that's what my favorite part, but it really was. It was just like a camaraderie and an atmosphere that just made you, we were called the SPN family, and it made you think like, yeah, this is a family. Like, I have these people here who I barely know, yet I feel so connected with. And that is my story time for Supernatural JaxCon 2019. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you're not already, please hit the subscribe button down below. I post a ton of fandom content on this channel, especially Supernatural, and also Harry Potter. I want to do some other fandom things super soon, and so please subscribe if you're not. I do want to say we are almost at 300 subscribers on this channel, which I just still can't comprehend, and I want to say a massive thank you to all of you. I absolutely am so appreciative, and so thank you again so much. I can't believe we're almost at 300. Thank you again, and yes, if you're not and you want more fandom goodness in your life, hit subscribe. Also, if you'd like to follow me on some other social media sites, you can check out the links in the description below. I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, and I have a Twitter, and I post on all three pretty decently, especially TikTok daily on there, especially Supernatural content. So if you want to keep up with me elsewhere, go check those out and follow me as well. Thank you all again so much. I hope that you all have an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Carry on, my wayward people. Bye!